Welcome to the RE4AFAGRi online training videos. The RE project has received funding from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme under Grant Agreement 963530. In this video, we will go through the steps for the MLAD software installation procedure. Of course, make sure to check out also the extended training videos of the model introduction, running and tailoring, which follows this video. First of all, MLAD, as previously seen in the short introductory video, has been developed and tested in a Windows 11 environment, but it can also be run on Linux and Mac OS as it relies on the cross-platform R scientific computing language. An internet connection is required to retrieve packages and information from the API throughout the model pipeline. As mentioned, it is written in the R scientific computing programming language, and therefore it requires the user to have R in version 4 or greater installed on your local computer, as well as a recent version of the RStudio integrated development environment on the computer itself. So first of all, to install R, it is necessary to follow the web link which is provided in the previous slide, as well as in the repository on the GitHub repository of the RE4AFAGRi platform, or simply by looking for the R website online. So first of all, the first step is to download the R installation software by clicking the link which is shown in red here, basically which is circled in red. This is a screenshot of the R official website for which the software, the latest version of the software, can be downloaded. Once the download is started, we will wait for download to be over, and when it's over, we can open the exe file and proceed with the installation procedure. The recommendation is to complete the installation wizard using the default settings. So R will take care of installing itself and setting up the required registry entries. So just keep pressing next until the installation procedure of the R software is finalized. After R was installed, it's also required to install the RStudio software. So similarly, on the GitHub repository and in the previous slide, you can check out the web link to the official POSIT website. POSIT is the organization responsible for developing and distributing the RStudio. So once you land on a page similar to this on the official website, you would click the Download RStudio Desktop for Windows button and wait for the download procedure to be over, similarly as done before. And eventually, we will proceed with the installation of the RStudio. Again, keeping on pressing next with default settings toggled until the installation wizard is over. As a remark, if you already have, for other reasons, R or RStudio installed on your personal computer, that is completely fine, but please make sure to check which versions of the software you have installed. And if these versions are rather outdated, for instance, if you have a R version which is older than the version 4, it is required to download a newer version and to update it, as the MLAD model has been tested with recent versions of R and RStudio. After all, you can search for the RStudio application on your applications folder, on your start menu, on your desktop if you're using Windows, and open the RStudio to get a feel of it. In case you don't have much experience with RStudio or with integrated development environments either, this is a bit of outlook of how the RStudio looks like. So this is an example where we open the MLAD hourly file, which is basically the home page of the MLAD model where the model is run. So we open the MLAD hourly file in the RStudio. As you can see, RStudio has several panels. The one we should be more focused and aware of are basically the upper left panel, which is where we can see the code. So that's the script panel, basically, where when we open a file, we visualize all the content of the file and we select the lines and we change the code where necessary. Then in this script panel, we have a run button, which is also highlighted in red, and it's a very important button, as it is the one that allows us to perform operations and actually launch code to run the model. And the model outputs and the progress of the model run are shown in the lower part of the left side of the screen. So where another circle in red is seen on the bottom left, which is the console. So in the console, we see the outputs and progress of a code being running. And finally, another very important window is the environment window, which is the one we can see on the top right. And that's where basically the objects and the data which is loaded and generated by running the code and the model is appearing. So basically where we can check out that things are happening and outputs are being generated. Of course, to access and use the MLED model, it's first necessary to retrieve its source code. So, as seen in the short introductory video on MLED, the source code of MLED is found on the RE4AFAGRi GitHub repository. You can follow this web link or just follow the web links which are found in the www.re4afagri.africa website, which contain all the web links to the data and code of the modeling platform. And once you access this GitHub repository, which contains the code for all the 4 models, you can see the green button named code highlighted in red here. So you should click on that, and this will open a pop-up menu where you would click download zip, and this will toggle a download of the entire source code repository onto your local computer. Once you finish downloading the zip file, the zip folder, it's a compressed folder, so you will need to right-click on it and extract it, so uncompress the zip folder onto a folder on your computer. It does not matter where you actually download this folder, just keep memory of where you are downloading it. So which is the local path to this folder on your computer. Is it on your desktop, or is it on your download folders or your documents folder? It does not matter. You can run the model either way, but you should be aware of what is the path to this folder. Where is it? Okay. So do this, extract the code repository. And also then we would need the input data to run the model. So the model necessitates code and data to be run. So to get the data, we have the Zenodo RE4AFAGRi platform repository. You can also find the link here in this slide, but also in the RE4AFAGRi.Africa website under the code and data webpage, or also this Zenodo repository is also linked in the GitHub repository itself. So once you enter this Zenodo website to get the data, you can see a screenshot here. You see you will have different files and folders which contain the data. For MLED, we have produced different replication packages, depending if you're interested in just running one of the 5 models for which a code package has already been prepared, or whether instead you would like to download them all so that then you have the flexibility to consider and try different country runs. So it's a choice, but here in this example, I'm showing you the example where I download the MLED replication all folder, which basically contains the files for all the 5 countries which have been receiving an active development so far for the MLED model. So you should download this file. These files are quite large as they contain a lot of geospatial information. So I recommend you to make sure that you have a sufficient storage space on your computer before downloading that. So you will then download it, and finally, as you did for the compressed folder of the source code, you should also decompress the folder, extract the folder of the data, and take note of where it is. So note that it can be somewhere else. It doesn't need to be in the same folder of the RE4AFAGRi code folders, but also in this case, you should bear attention and keep in mind where this data folder was extracted. Make sure you extract the folder and don't just link to the compressed folder. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a screenshot. After you decompress the folder, you will have a large set of folders and files, which are the prepared package containing all the data which are necessary to successfully run the mlet. Here is an example. As I was mentioning, Zambia, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Kenya are the countries so far for which mlet replication packages are available. These packages contains a wide amount of data that is also Africa-wide, so it is suitable for developing country models for additional countries beyond these 5. However, they are not. It would not be sufficient. So this, for instance, downloading the Zambia replication folder would contain quite some information that would be relevant and useful for running a model for another country of this, which is not part of this 5. But you would still need to carry out some additional data gathering and preparation steps, which, by the way, are described in detail in the extended video of the mlet model, which is a follow-up of this installation video. So if you would like to run the model, and if you would like specifically to develop a country model beyond these 5 models, I highly recommend you to check out the extended mlet running and preparation video. So after a while, when we are done with downloading the source code and the input data, we extracted the true zipped folder. It's the time to open the mlet Harley R file in the RStudio. So this file is contained inside the mlet folder of the RE4AFAGRi repository code that we downloaded and extracted. So you should open the folder where you downloaded the code, you extracted it, then open the mlet folder. You will see that there are multiple folders with the code for the different models, but now here we are focusing on mlet. So open the mlet folder, and then inside the mlet folder, you will see the mlet harley.r file. This is the homepage of the model. This is where we start things. So double click on this file. If you installed RStudio successfully, this file should automatically open inside the RStudio and show up similarly to seen in this screenshot. We need now to take care of a couple of manual steps to configure the environment before we can actually run mlet. So the most true important initial configurations that need to be carried out is to update the working directory and input data database folder paths. So as you can see in lines 8 and 10 of this code, there are currently a certain path to a certain folder, which, however, is most likely not corresponding to where we downloaded and extracted the code and the data on our computer. So what we need to do is to basically update these 2 strings. You see the paths are contained into parentheses and into quotation marks. So you need to preserve the same structure and just replace inside the parentheses, inside the quotation marks, the path on your local computer in line 8 to the mlet folder of the code. So you will have the RE4AFAGRi platform folder, and inside you have the mlet folder, as you can see from this example. So you will need to just replace where this folder is located on your computer. Make sure to use these dashes to basically separate the different folders, the different paths, and you put them in a way that they are those dashes that are kind of right leaning and not left leaning, as R wants this right leaning dashes. You can see the example here, right? So this is leaning towards the top right and not in the other direction. This is important, otherwise the code will not work. Similarly, you would do the same in line 10 for the MLET database, so basically where you downloaded the data and extracted the data. So you would need to replace the string inside the quotation commas to the data folder. Then, after we updated this path, we will need to configure the environment, which is something that will take some time, but will only happen this first time that we are configuring the M environment into R. Then, once this will be completed, when we will be running the model the next time, all the steps will be already completed, so it will be much quicker, and we will just focus on running the model. So this is our first run only configuration. So what you need to do, you need to basically, with your mouse, drag and select lines of code. You can see that when you select lines of code, like in this screenshot, they became blue, so they are highlighted in blue. You can see now the background of the code is blue because I dragged my mouse and clicked and selected a certain number of lines of code. Okay, so to do this, you first need to select lines from 1 to 21 and click the Run button that I was showing you before in the RStudio window. So on the top of the script panel, you have the Run button. So you select first line from 1 to 21 and click Run. By the way, you can also tap Ctrl plus Enter on your keyboard, which is a keyboard shortcut to run the code. Once you run lines from 1 to 21, you will see the console output and the console completing the output. And then you will need to crucially run the lines from 25 to 75, which are those actually configuring the environment and installing the required packages. Be careful to follow these steps really thoroughly and close by, as doing something different might result in problem, errors, or not completing the configuration procedure. So first run lines from 1 to 21, wait for the console to be over, then select lines from 25 to 75, and then click Run on them. Once you do this second step, so once you are running lines from 25 to 75 in this first configuration run, the RStudio will start to download packages from the internet, the required libraries, so the required tools and software to run the model and to install them. So this will be automatically taken care of by the backend.r file, which takes care of installing all the required package dependencies. During this procedure, please follow all the instructions that are prompted in the console. So take a close look at the console and check the request. Maybe often you will get some user requests like, would you like to install? Click Enter to continue and so forth. So follow these requests closely. And in particular, at some point you might be prompted with something like here, like shown here in the screenshot, install from sources. Would you like to install these packages that might need compilation from sources? In this special case, you would need to say no and to click Enter. So you would need to type with your keyboard no inside the console. So be careful to do this inside the console and tap Enter to confirm the choice. You will wait. It will take some time, depending also on your internet speed and on your computer performance. It may take 15, 20 minutes, even half an hour. But remember, this is just the first time, then it won't happen again until these code running and installation procedures are complete. How do I know when it's complete? So basically, you can see here an example. When the procedure is still running and the packages are being installed, you can see the console is not free, it's busy. And you can see that especially because you can see this red button, which I highlighted here, which is this red stop button. If you can see that, it means the code is still running and you have to wait. Conversely, when the console frees up and the code is over, you can notice that the red button on the top of the console is gone, so it's not there anymore. And also you can see that in the console, kind of the the user is free to type and run things directly again. So you can see nothing else is happening. You have the access to the console. It means the code finished running. So be careful to ensure to wait that the procedure is over before you can be sure that the installation procedure of the packages is finalized. So just as a recap, what I need to do to configure MLAT on my computer, besides installing R and RStudio, I need to download the RE4AFAGRi code repository from the GitHub. I need to uncompress it to extract it. I need to open the mlat-hourly.r file from the mlat folder in my RStudio. I need to update lines of code 8 and 10 to the path where I have the code of my RE4AFAGRi platform mlat folder, and to the path where I have my input data that I downloaded from Zenodo. So update these 2 lines of code, being aware of using the slash which has the top right leading direction and not the opposite one in the code of the RStudio, of the R script. And then I have to separately run first line 1 to 21 and then lines 25 to 52, basically to configure the packages, install the dependencies, and so far. And during this procedure, if I'm prompted to install from source, I should type no with my keyboard and tap enter. When the procedure is over and my console is free, it means that I successfully installed and configured the MLAT model on my computer, and now I am ready to carry out runs and customize my scenarios to actually get model outputs. In case of issues during the configuration and installation procedure, I really much invite you to open an issue on the official GitHub of the RE4AFAGRi platform. So you can see an example here. So please do open an issue. You will just go on the RE4AFAGRi platform on the issues page. You click new issue and you will open a new issue. And then you can type a title and a description. And in description, please try to be detailed about what you do, what problems are you facing. And we are actively monitoring this issues page, so we will make sure to address your challenges and support you to successfully install the MLAT platform on your computer. Otherwise, you can also reach out to us via email. We have an active re4afagri.gmail.com email address to monitor in case of challenges. Thank you very much for following this MLAT installation and configuration video, and please make sure to check out the follow-up video, which is the video on actually running MLAT and configuring scenarios and developing new country analysis.